Hey everyone, it's just Alan. I mean, Joey. It's Joey. This is my Barbie movie review. I just got back from watching the new Barbie movie directed by Greta Gerwig, starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling as the one and only Ken, and Michael Cera as Alan, and America Ferrera, and a lot of other fantastic actors in this movie. So essentially what this movie is, the movie starts out with Margot Robbie being in, the dreamland, the Barbie dreamland. She has this dream life. Everything kind of goes her way. It's very much like how you would play with a Barbie, which I thought was really cool. Like, you never walk a Barbie down the stairs. She just kind of floats down. There's no real food she eats. It's all very cute, and the set is so gorgeous and well made and well done and beautiful. And it really brings us into the small but happy world of Barbie. And you get to meet this diverse cast of characters, cast of Barbies, that all seem to be living their best life in the dreamland. And then you meet the Kens that are all hanging out on the beach, being Kens and kind of goofing off. But the film mostly centers around Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling as Ken, and the dynamic that those two characters brought to the world, bring to each other, and ultimately bring to themselves and the audience. So I thought the angle of this movie was pretty interesting. Going in, you kind of expect it to be one thing. You kind of expect it to be this goofy, kind of like cartoonish kind of play on Barbie and her world, and how the Kens are kind of like these himbo types that just kind of goof around and say like goofy, dumb quips. And there's a lot of that. There's music, there's dancing, there's a lot of that, but there's a lot of heavy stuff to this movie. There's a lot of existential crisis that Barbie is going through because she is tethered to a human that is feeling those emotions and playing with her Barbie, and imbuing the Barbie with those emotions, which is what sets up the whole movie, and Barbie going off to the real world to figure out why she is malfunctioning, which she goes to see Kate McKinnon's Weird Barbie, and she kind of does the Matrix thing with the shoes, and then Margot Robbie goes into the real world and finds out the real world is not so fun, and full of crazy people, crazy things, emotions. All this stuff is just happening, and she's overwhelmed, and she's trying to figure out, and Ken kind of feeling looked down upon in Dreamland, and like he's kind of a one-note guy, goes to the real world and finds that guys are lauded there. The patriarchy exists. There's a lot of jokes about the patriarchy and how you could get away with doing very little, not being specialized in anything, or not. You could just get away by being a man, which, is true, as we know, in a lot of the world and a lot of the way the world works these days. So I thought it was interesting to see it from almost like a naive lens, and being so enamored with the patriarchy and the world of man that he fully embraces it and takes that chaos back to Dreamland and just makes it about horses and cars and trucks and beer and all these kind of cliche, stereotypical masculine kind of coded things. And it creates a very, friction dynamic between him and Barbie. And this version of Barbie and Ken, they're not really romantically linked. The only thing that really links them is, the idea of Barbie and Ken. But this Barbie is kind of an independent Barbie. She kind of wants to do her own thing. She wants to experience life the way she wants to. And ultimately, that's kind of the message of the movie. Or not kind of, it is the message of the movie. It's like, just be you. Just be unique to yourself. Be unique to your experiences. You don't have to be put in a box, so to speak, that whatever people put you in. You could be all these things. You could be none of these things. You could be ordinary, or you could do, whatever the hell you want to do in this world. And I thought that was really important for the story of Barbie because, what? I had sisters. I used to play with their Barbie dolls. I played with them. I, combined them with my toys. I made stories. And these were all characters you just wanted to see kind of do their own thing, and you create these massive stories, and they're always capable in these stories. They can do whatever they want in these stories, and I think that's at the core of what this movie's about, what Barbie's about. It's about feminine power, but it's more about the power within and the belief in yourself, kind of. And it starts off with this whole Ken being really into the masculine thing because he's not really looked down upon per se. He just doesn't really have an identity besides, Barbie or beach or all that stuff. And I think it does a good job of fleshing out the kind of masculine parts of the movie too, and saying, hey, you don't have to just be here for me. You don't have to be like the guy who likes horses or trucks or karate or whatever it is. You could just like whatever you like. And that's okay. You don't have to be these things that people are telling you to be. And that's kind of what Barbie is. You could be anything you want to be, really. You don't have to be an astronaut. You could, stay home and play with the kids, or, play video games or whatever you want to do. It's kind of just, this is life. It's short. Take advantage. The whole thing starts off with an existential crisis about how we're all going to die someday, which, brought me in because I love stuff like that. And I thought it was really interesting and a really cool way to tell the story of Barbie. Like, hey, we're not going to be around forever. Why don't you do the things you actually enjoy doing in this life, and doing the things that you really genuinely inside think are most important. I think for me, that was the big takeaway of the movie, is to just kind of embrace your own life and kind of come up with your own story. No matter, what your situation might be, you do have the power to do that. Men and women and, everyone, essentially. So I really like this movie a lot. I think for me, this really worked. I know it's not a lot of what people thought it was going to be. It's not really for kids either, which it might be mixed messaging because it is a Barbie movie, but it definitely trends more towards maybe millennials, Gen X, kind of the older generations that really grew up with Barbie at her prime and are getting older and starting to experience the world differently. Just like Greta Gerwig is herself, and she wrote it with Noah Baumbach, who's a fantastic writer. And it's more for those people. There's a lot of fun and silliness, but there's a lot of very mature jokes too, which I don't think will land with the kids. And there's a lot of children at the screening, reasonably so, but I think the message was really mixed on who this was for. And I would say it's definitely for, old, maybe teenagers to adults. But yeah, I really loved the Barbie movie. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I will be doing movie reviews all through the year. I actually have to do my Oppenheimer one. So if that one interests you, look out for that one coming to the channel very shortly. And thank you guys for watching. Remember to subscribe, and see you in the next one. Have a Barbie-rific day. See you later.